Hi there, my name's Jim Rose and I'm a pastor here on the South Central Ohio District. Mount Vernon has asked me to shoot a little video talking about some outreach ideas that the local church can do during this pandemic. Now really any of these ideas you could do anytime, but I think it's especially important during this season. Now, some of those ideas include things that you can do right at your local church. One of those ideas is scheduling a blood drive at the church. You can schedule a time when people can come and donate blood at the church while still practicing safe social distancing. All you have to do is contact the American Red Cross. They'll help you set it up. It's pretty easy to do, and it's a great way that your congregation and those in the community can give back for people in need. The other idea is to do a food truck night at the church. So how this works, it's exactly what it sounds like. You have food trucks that come in, but do this. Do it only one at a time, based off your space here. Have people order ahead of time. So the night before, have people order their food. And so at the given time, people show up and pick up their food. Here's what this does. It brings people to your church, but it also is helping out a local business in your area. So on Monday nights, it could be barbecue. On Tuesdays, of course, it's Taco Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you could have a different food truck at your location every night of the week while still practicing safe social distancing, but drawing people to your church. Another idea that you could do is to do a drive-through food drop-off for the local food pantry in your area. Have people drive up to the church, pop open their trunk. Some have a volunteer at the church just pull the items right out of the trunk or the back seat. It's a way to give to the local food pantry while still helping, while still again practicing that safe social distance, something that we're getting used to. Speaking of that social distancing thing, we could have the church make masks. That's something that we're seeing more and more that's needed because of what the governor has asked us to do. So the church could provide the material to make the masks. People in the congregation that love to sew, or even those that don't love to sew, could make the masks up and then get the word out to the community that your church has some masks that they can just have for free. So they don't have to go to Facebook Marketplace, they don't have to go to Amazon, they don't have to go to Craigslist or Etsy or eBay or any of those other sites, that they can just come to your church. It's a simple act of kindness to say that Jesus loves you, no strings attached. And what a way to give back. So those are some ideas that you can do that will draw people back to your church, back to your property. But we also need to get into the communities. And what a great way to get into the community, by dropping off some popcorn. I've got little kids at the house, and one of the things that I've heard from my friends is, man, they're kind of binge watching some Netflix. And so what a great thing to do is to, as people are going on walks in their neighborhood, give your congregation some pre-wrapped microwave popcorn packages. Put a little label on that and have on that label, this is a simple act of kindness to say Jesus loves you, no strings attached. Maybe put a possible link to your church's website on there, or list the time of your service, your virtual online service now. And it's a way that people can interact with the church and see what's going on, but a way that we can give back to your neighbors. So as they're watching their Netflix or their Disney Plus or their Hulu or whatever they're watching, they can be munching on some popcorn that you, the local church, has given them. Another idea that we can do in the neighborhood, maybe while you're passing out that popcorn, is hand out a neighborhood help form. And that's exactly what it sounds like. On this form, just put hi, my name is Jim Rose, and I live here, and I would like to help you out. If there's any way that I might be of assistance to you during this pandemic, please just let me know. no strings attached. And then again, be available, because your availability does so much to so many people. So be available to somebody. And when they call you, be there. And so something else that we can do in the neighborhood is to do a neighborhood family scavenger hunt. How much fun is it to have little kids going around looking for things, because we're looking for ideas to do, aren't we? As families, you know, we're kind of ready to be social distanced from each other. And so what do we need to do? We need to get out. We need to exercise. It's starting to warm up. It's starting to feel better out. So we get out and let's do a family scavenger hunt in the community around the neighborhood where the church is. And here's what you do. Have the scavenger hunt end at the church. And then what the church can do for prizes is go to your local establishments, like the favorite pizza place around, or the coffee shop, or the ice cream park, or wherever it is. And so support them. And maybe for the top 5 prizes, 10 prizes, or who knows, maybe for everybody, you give them a free something. So again, it's drawing them back to the church. It's letting them know that you're there to help. It's providing entertainment for everybody with a no strings attached type of way of serving. Something else that we can do out in the community, out in the neighborhood, and this is a great one for kids and for teenagers, is they get to do some sidewalk chalk. And write encouraging messages right on the sidewalk of people. Again, this is something for all ages to do. Again, just to send that little encouraging message. And then one of my favorite things to do that we've done for years, it's a rake and bake. And it's exactly what it sounds like. We go and we do some light yard work for those that need a little bit of help. So again, we have to know our neighbors. So do some light yard work. And for those that can't do yard work, you bake some cookies. My favorite, chocolate chip. But you might have something a little bit better that you like. But for me, it's chocolate chip. But we bake those cookies and we rake up the yards, do some light yard work for those that it might not be the best to be outside right now in the elements and everything else. So we get to do that for them. So we've covered stuff that you can do to draw people into the church, into the property. And we've done some stuff that you can talk about for right around your own neighborhood. Now, the last area is for the general community. Stuff that we can just do for everybody. One of those ideas is to write letters to nursing homes. You know, during this pandemic, one of the tragedies is that families and friends can't visit loved ones in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. So as a congregation, just take the time to write a letter, to say that you're thinking about them. And as you're writing letters to the residents, do me a favor. Don't forget about those people working in those facilities, because the stress that they've been put under and the strain of long hours and watching really their friends get sick are pretty intense. So write an encouraging letter to the staff also. So do it residents and staff. And speaking of staff at facilities like that, maybe while again you're still practicing social distancing, you make up some thank you posters and go to the local hospital, and again while practicing that social distancing, hold up those thank you signs at shift change, at the major shift change. So when the nurses and doctors and anesthesiologists and the paper pushers and everybody else come in and out of the hospital, you're there just thanking them for the hard work that our frontline staff people have been doing. And again, it's just a way of encouraging them. That's really inexpensive, but it's building relationships and it's building community right where you are. Something else that you can do is volunteer for Meals on Wheels. I know here in Franklin County, they've kind of changed the rules up a little bit, and the rules now are, hey, do you have a good driving record, and are you breathing? And you got the free time to help out. If you can do those 3 things, then you can volunteer on Meals on Wheels because they really need help. And so maybe where you're at, the rules have changed up slightly also. So you again can go deliver meals to the most vulnerable. We can check on our friends. We can check on our neighbors to see what's going on to those in the community. Another idea is kind of our own Meals on Wheels at the church. So what you can do here, it's kind of a drop-off dinner. What we would do is have somebody in the church that loves to make meals, and I think most churches have that person or that family or maybe multiple families that love to make meals, and they can make something as simple as a spaghetti dinner, have them make the meal up in advance, and then you have some runners, maybe other people from your congregation that don't cook, kind of like me, I don't cook so well, and they would run it to the people's homes. So again, practicing that distancing, so people in the community would just call ahead and say, hey, my family could really use 6 spaghetti dinners, because we have unemployment right now higher than most of us have ever really seen it. And a hot meal provided by a church, man, that can go a long way. That can go a long way in loving your neighbor. A couple more ideas here is one is graduation cards. You know, this is the time that all seniors are looking forward to. They've worked, 12 or 13, hey, maybe some of those 14, 15 years to graduate. But they've made it. They finally made it. And the one thing that they've missed out on is walking across the stage and actually graduating. So something as a church that you can do is write graduation cards to all the seniors of your local high school. Now, this is going to take some time, and a way around that whole confidentiality, because you don't want to know what little Stevie's first and last name is by going to the high school and saying, hey, give us just the first name. Just give us the first name of every senior. And so you write that name and you write that card and saying how proud you are of them and the accomplishments that they've had and all that good stuff. And then you give a stamped envelope back to the school and have them fill out the addresses and mail those cards to every senior. And they'll help out with you with that. And that'll just be a great way that you can give back to every senior of your local high school, because so many of those kids are just missing out on that experience of not only a graduation, but for a lot of them, a graduation party. And last but not least, is as a church, you can send out just positive family messages. If people in your church are like me and my family, I'm kind of sometimes ready to social distance from my own kids. And so I need to find ways that we can interact with our kids better, because this is more time than a lot of parents have spent with their kids ever. And so we need positive ways to do that. So maybe you could go around as you're walking those neighborhoods, create a little handbill, a door hanger, maybe something on the back of that community helps card that I talked about. And you could list on there some home activities that families could do, maybe some positive games that could be played, some outdoor activities that people could go out and do, maybe a devotion or two, guide them back to the church's website if they have one, or on your Facebook page, or a way to interact with them. And then last but not least on that, maybe list some family-focused community resources, because a lot of families are having a tough time right now. So, list the local food pantry addresses or where to get help for different items. So again, it's us giving back. And that's what outreach is all about. It's not about building. It's not about building our church. It's not about building that building. It's not about increasing the size of that. But it's about increasing God's kingdom. And it's about being effective to God's kingdom. And if we can be the church, the ecclesia, and not the building, then I think a lot of these ideas will work out great. If churches, if you have any questions or anything, reach out to Mount Vernon, and I'm sure they can get in touch with me. I'll be glad to chat with you a little bit about some of these ideas, go into more detail, and I'll be honest, I got a lot more. This is just the time I got to deliver all of it. So again, reach out if you do have anything else, and church, just be blessed and be a blessing. Have a great day.